The book I want to share with you today is a more serious nonfiction work. It's called The Blood of Emmett Till. It's by Timothy Tyson, and it looks at the infamous killing of Emmett Till in the 1950s. So Emmett Till was a young boy who was murdered by a group of white men. He was beaten brutally, killed, and then thrown in the river after being kidnapped, and his body washed ashore. And his mom made a really brave decision to have an open casket at his funeral to show what had happened to her son. And this decision just shocked the world. Newspapers printed pictures of Emmett Till all over, and it was a chance for people to really have their eyes open to the atrocities that were being committed against Black people. So it was one of those like turning of the tides during the civil rights movement, and it meant a lot. So Emmett Till, though, this book dives deeply into who he was as a person and his family, and it also looks closely at the political context of the time, and sort of explains to us why things happened the way they did. Looks at the trial, looks at the investigation, but it also looks at the legacy left by Emmett Till. So the book's really intriguing. The beginning is just fabulous, so I'm going to read a couple excerpts from it. It starts, "Nothing that boy did." The older woman sipped her coffee. "I have thought and thought about everything about Emmett Till, the killing and the trial, telling who did what to who," she said. Back when she was 21, and her name was Carolyn Bryant, the French newspaper Aurora dubbed the dark-haired young woman from Mississippi Delta a Crossroads Marilyn Monroe. Almost 80, and still handsome, her hair now silver, the former Miss Roy Bryant served me a slice of pound cake, hesitated a little, and then murmured, seeming to speak to herself more than to me, "They're all dead now, anyway." She placed her cup on the low-glass table between us, and I waited. For one epic moment, half a century earlier, Carolyn Bryant's face had been familiar across the globe, forever attached to a crime of historic notoriety and symbolic power. The murder of Emmett Till was reported in one of the very first banner headlines of the civil rights era and launched the national coalition that fueled the modern civil rights movement. But she had never opened her door to a journalist or a historian, let alone invited one in for cake or coffee. Now she looked me in the eyes, trying hard to distinguish between fact and remembrance, and told me a story that I did not know. So if you are interested in civil rights, if you are interested in history, but also in the impact on today, or if you're interested in true crime, I would pick up The Blood of Emmett Till. It's pretty somber, pretty serious. At times it's hard to read just because of the brutality that's mentioned in it, but it is a fascinating look at our history also because it draws to modern context today.